Welcome back to Changing Healthcare, an exploration of people and brands that are disrupting healthcare for the better. And I'm pretty excited here to be sitting here with the one and only Tracey Stroup. Tracey is a naturopathic doctor, educator, and influencer who specializes in functional medicine and spiritual wellness. She's an incredible teacher about best practices with natural medicine and isn't afraid to take on the more controversial topics. She's kind of a rabble rouser. You got to keep your eye on this one. This is one of the reasons why I love her. And one of the things that really makes her special is that she's really built her personal brand around using digital marketing tools like social media and Zoom and other platforms. And I asked her to join me today to offer healthcare practitioners some actionable steps and how they can really productively manage patient appointments online, because this is a struggle area for a lot of them. So we're going to do a fun little role play on a patient appointment online. We'll demonstrate how an online check-in might work. So it'll be pretty interesting. This is new territory for me, for sure. So Tracey, thanks a lot for joining us.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. It's good to sit with you, Patrick.
My pleasure. So
I'm going to expose everything about you today.
Please do, because the world wants to know more about you, not me. So can we start with a little history about you? So you and I have known each other for a while, but for the benefit of our audience here, what drives this passion inside you and how did it bring you to where you are today?
Yeah, so I actually started out in personal training. I was a very overweight kid. And when I went to college, I was going to be a veterinarian, and I got into working out and, making my own food and kind of taking my health back. And I loved it. And so I switched my major and went into exercise and sports science. And I did personal training after I graduated for like 15 years, had my own studio. And I worked excessive hours, 5:30 in the morning till 10 at night. And, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to do that, but it was new and exciting, and I was like one of the only games in town, so it was pretty awesome. And then, I kind of woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I'm 33 years old and I'm not married, and, I've worked all this time and I was just kind of burnt out. So I decided to just kind of start over, and I actually ended up selling my gym, and I was going to go live with my sister, and I met my husband. And it was that quick. It was like 1 week I sold my house and sold my business. And the next week I met my husband and moved to Montana and got married 3 months later. So while we were there, it was an awesome adventure. And when I came home about a year later, I was pregnant and with our first son and had him. During that time, I was really researching like health, like any good mom. I wanted to have a healthy baby. And I was very much into kind of like natural health. I had always been into natural health. My grandmother taught me that years ago. But one of the issues was when he was born, I didn't want to vaccinate him. And so I really had to look into that because I wanted to be sure. And I ended up choosing no. And he ended up with eczema simply because he was a C-section baby and he didn't go through the natural birth process. So he didn't get his good microbiome and all that kind of stuff. So it was a difficult birth and a difficult 3 months. And I decided to go back to school to become a naturopathic doctor because I needed to know more at that time. And so that took me on a completely different path. So for the last, I guess, 10-ish years, I've been practicing natural medicine. I was a practitioner, and then I became an educator for the school that I graduated from. I became a speaker for them. I started to speak for numerous supplement companies. I ended up working for a supplement company and just really learning the products from the other side of the supplement bottle. And in that path, found Jesus, right? I was saved because I was very new age. And then I became very Christ-centered. And now I just share my passion in health with anybody. I try to help practitioners be better business people. I think one of the things that most health and wellness professionals lack is the business mind, the marketing mind, because when you graduate from a naturopathic program or even an allopathic program, you're expected to be an entrepreneur, although you have none of those skills to really brand yourself and market yourself. It's one of the things that we need to change. And, I wanted people to be healthy, not only in a business sense and within their physical sense, but also a spiritual sense. So I focus forward now with helping clients, right? One-on-one consultations, helping natural health professionals be better business people, better marketers and branders. And then, helping people find more spiritual wellness, in whatever way that they need to, that will help just bring them closer to a better relationship with God. So
That's such a wide skill set. I mean,
at least I think I can do all those things. I'm not really sure.
well, I commend you for it, because I've seen you in action and seen the impact that you have on people. I'm just curious, like, so you had this journey with medicine, right? And grappling with the birth of your son and figuring out these natural paths that sort of led to your career change. But you're also an outstanding communicator. Where did you acquire those skills from?
I have no idea. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes I think you have an equipping, right, for whatever purpose in life you're going to do. And I really enjoyed speaking. And I really think my ability to communicate comes from my passion to communicate what I want people to know. And really, I just want them to feel better. I've never taken any formal courses, and I've messed up enough speeches to know not to do certain things. I've asked for constructive, criticism from people that I have admired. I've watched people speak. And I think one of the biggest things that I noticed is people want to feel something, and it's not a manipulation if you really mean it. I see a lot of manipulation marketing out there, and it makes people feel afraid. I want people to be inspired and to be, influenced to move in a better direction. So I try to approach somebody with more of, a way to critically think for themselves. I provide information of where we are right now, what we know about the here and now, and speculate on what if we did X, Y, or Z, and let them come to terms with what that means in their life. So to apply the critical thinking, because it's the space between what we know and what we speculate, where we can either build fear or confidence. And I like to build confidence within that. I like people to speculate their life to be healthier and fulfilled and, just better than what they could have ever imagined. Where I think sometimes people know what they know and then they speculate the worst outcome. And then this entire space between is fear. So my whole method of communication is to get people to speculate and dream of the best life possible. And, you have to know where you are so you know where to start. And then you have to know what you want so that you can imagine all the things that you can become. So that's really my goal when I try to communicate with people.
Yeah, well, that certainly makes a lot of sense. Getting them to visualize, a better state of health for themselves. And it's always a choice, right? There's no point in just pontificating down to people and just saying, you have to do this. I mean, people are either going to take care of
Right.
themselves or they're not, and natural medicine is participating and it's about empowering your patients to really take charge of their health. So, it sounds like that approach must work really well.
It does. And I think people want to be empowered, right? They don't want to
Yep.
feel helpless. Sometimes I just think there's so much information out there, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so part of how I communicate is educate. You can't talk at people. You have to show them the path and then educate them on why they should walk it. Then you can kind of say, okay, this is a 90-10 relationship. I'm 10% of the equation, Patrick, you're 90. I can point down the path. I can show you where to walk, but you have to walk it and you have to want to walk it. And at the end of that path is everything you ever wanted for your health. And if you want that, you have to go down that path. But I'm going to show you why, right? So here's a couple of reasons why you should take the first 10 steps. And then you come back and see me again. Okay, here's your next set of 20 steps that you need to take. And here's why. So we have to educate people to take their own health back. We have to stop being practitioners that are the end all for these people, or they look at us like we're some sort of, God to them. And that's not what I want. I always tell people, my goal is for you to fire me. I want you to fire me. That's my goal. I want you to come one day and say, I don't need you anymore. I know what to do. and I'll check in with you every once in a while. And then go tell 10 of their friends how great the experience was. That's the goal. So that's what I'm really trying to do, is get people empowered and educated to take their health back, to make an educated choice from that point forward. And then I'm there as a reference if they need me, right? I'm kind of like an old favorite book. You can pick me up when you want to and read your favorite chapter, you know?
That's fantastic. And you mentioned, which I think is really pertinent to the situation that we're facing today, that a lot of practitioners out there might be, excellent doctors and, super knowledgeable and very willing to educate people just like you are. But they're a little bit weak on some of the tools that they need to rely on now to communicate with people. And of course, in the situation that we're facing now with, the pandemic and needing to communicate with people through remote means, what are some of the challenges that you're hearing about from the medical community? What are they struggling with when it comes to this?
Well, financially, obviously. But one of the bigger struggles is, there's a couple of them, so I'll just start at the top. Number one, they don't know how to practice this way. They don't know how to do telemedicine. So they're so used to putting their hands on people or being face to face. So they feel like a telemedicine approach is going to lose that contact. Second, they don't have the right testing, right? So some doctors really want to do, and I know when I did RBTI, which is a form of testing, which is Ream's biological theory of ionization, I needed saliva, urine, I had to do pH of the mouth. It was a lot of like very physical contact, and I needed to do the test in-house. Well, this way I can't do that. So I've lost my testing tool. I've lost my way to analyze data. And so they're not getting the data they need. And, third, they don't know how to put everything together to make the system sing. So tools, I would say they're not sure what to use. They don't know what communication platforms, what payment gateways, how they're going to get supplements to their customers if they need them. They don't have the right data that they need to make the educated decision on the health. And then, they don't know how to receive payment and just those revenue streams. So putting the entire system together has been tough. And what that leads to is a practitioner who could be benefiting so many people that they just don't know what to do. And so they're kind of frozen, right? Because we've never seen anything like this. We've never been in this situation before where we're completely frozen in time and we can't reach out and touch somebody. Like, it's not possible. So
Right.
It's a new age, and we have to do things in a new way and help people in a new way. So, and I think that's some of the things that I can help practitioners with.
Well, and it's so easy to empathize with people in that situation, because it's sort of like having your entire business model just like turned on its head overnight. And all those things that you
Right.
mentioned, I mean, could be pretty daunting to somebody. So if let's imagine that there was a whole class of them sitting here right now, and they're sitting 12 feet apart, of course. And they're like, Tracey,
There's only
what do
10
we
of
do?
them.
Right. Right. They're like, Tracey, what are some actionable steps I can take right now to sort of prepare and get myself back on track? What would you tell them? What are the top things I need to be thinking about?
Well, number one, staying in communication with your clientele. Don't lose communication with them just because they're not making appointments or seeing you. It's really important that we reach out and, stay in communication, just keep the relationship, because that's why people come see you. They don't see you because they don't like you. There's a rapport, there's a relationship. Some of the tools that I use is you need a communication platform. You need a way to see people, talk to people. We can do it on the phone. You can do it on FaceTime. You can do it through Facebook Messenger, but not everybody has those platforms. So something like this, Zoom Communications, is great. It's a free platform, up to 40 minutes. And if you're only doing one-on-one, it's free for as long as you need to be on the call. But I think it's important to see people. They need a dispensary platform, some way to be able to sell their nutraceuticals or supplements, or they need a relationship with one of the providers that they use, one of the supplement companies they use. A lot of the supplement companies now will drop ship for their practitioners. So I can call up a company and say, hey, Sally Smith in Wyoming needs these 3 products. Can you drop ship it for me? And they will literally fulfill the order and send it to Sally per my suggestion. Now, my responsibility then is to collect the money. And that's the third thing, is they need a payment gateway. Some doctors have a shop and a website. That's great. They're set up. So all they need to do is really take appointments via telemedicine, collect data the way they can collect it. And I have a little way that I do it. And then, recommend the supplements on their website, and then they can ship them. Dispensary platforms are great. These have actually come around. They save the practitioner in cost of goods sold. They can get on these different dispensary platforms. They can establish an account. You can write a script right there of what nutraceuticals you want to send. You can put notes in there. You can actually have the payment gateway go through there. So it's a very convenient platform, and there's several of them out there, so I can name the ones that I use, but that's up to you.
That's awesome. And
I'm not mentioning any names until we get sponsorship. No, I'm just
there you go. Great idea. We'll get on
That's
that
right
after this.
That's right.
So those are the main things that people really need to be thinking about right now.
And just being out there, letting people know that they're around, right? I mean, most people are sitting back thinking their doctor is out of business. And you have to be visible to the public. And where is everybody right now? They're on social media. Websites are great, and I love websites. They really tell people what you do and who you are. But social media is an active communication platform in real time. You can put out daily posts on your business page. You can do live stream videos. You can just be an influencer, right? And let people know that you're out there, that you're willing to communicate with them, that you can take appointments via telemedicine. And then even working with your company, Patrick, would be to their advantage, just to get that lead generation, to go get the people who are searching, which I don't have that skill set. I can't go out and figure out who's searching for me, right? But you can. And then filtering those leads back to the doctor right now. Because that's one of the things that I'm seeing. People started to contact me because they didn't know where to get their supplements anymore. They're like, my doctor's closed. What do I do? What are they going to do? They're going to go on bigger platforms, and order online rather than supporting the doctor, which is where we want them to stay.
Yeah.
So I suggested, I was like, just call your doctor and see if he can ship you some supplements. And most of the time what happened was the doctor was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Because natural health food stores are closed right now. You can't go just buy some vitamin C. So we need these doctors to actually get out there and let people know that they are around. And if they have nutraceuticals that they can utilize for their patients, let them know, right? And even if you're in allopathic care, pharmacies are still open. If you're not seeing patients in your office, which most of those doctors are essential business, so they are. But even now, I mean, you could do telemedicine and pick up new patients or give recommendations. There's so many things that you can do just to help people stay healthy during this time. Not just immune health, but psychological health. I mean, we're seeing a lot of depression, anxiety. It's a very hard time for people, and they just need to know that doctors are there.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was a time where people needed their doctors more, it's hard to imagine it, and,
Right.
in addition to the point that you brought up just about brand exposure, just getting out there on interactive media, and just, communicating with people, it's also kind of like a life raft for people, because there's so much misinformation out there right now, and everybody knows it, and everyone's really sensitive about it. Like, emotions are really high, and just having like a steady hand, like somebody like you, I see so many people engaging with you and just being comforted just by having somebody who knows what they're talking about and is willing to share it, and just let people know you're going to be okay. I mean, if you got to take care of yourself, but you're going to be all right.
Yeah, and the know, like, and trust factor is huge. The one thing that practitioners have with their current clientele or their current patient load is those people already know them, they already like them, and they already trust them. And so if you go out on social media and you say, hey guys, I'm still around, I'm here for you, I'm going to take appointments. We can do it through Zoom. I can send you your supplements, no problem. Check in with me. Let me know how you're doing. I mean, that's huge for people right now who are isolated and have no hope. They have no idea when it's going to end, and nobody's telling us when it's going to end. So just giving that little ray of hope is big, and you will get phone calls or you will get messages. And you can do that on a professional end, on LinkedIn. You can go on Instagram, like whatever your game is, but get out there and let people know you're there, especially the people who know, like, and trust you already. They're waiting for you because they don't know who else to trust. You are their doctor. So that's my biggest thing, is let people know you're around, even if you're not working per se. Just stay in communication, because you got to keep the relationship and the rapport. Because when this does end and we go back, right, to practice, those people need to come see you right away. They're going to be malnourished, right? They're probably going to have the Corona 15, which is, something like the freshman 15. But, I mean, they're going to have different issues than when they were seeing you before. So
Yeah.
I'd rather stay with the clients, right? I'd rather stay and keep them healthy through this crisis, rather than let their health completely deplete and they go backwards. We can stand still, but we can't lose ground. Like, right? We just want to either stand or move forward. Like, we don't ever want to go back. So don't let your clients go backwards. Stay in touch, keep them healthy.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So I understand that you are planning some education, maybe like a course that sort of shows practitioners how to manage telehealth. And I would love to talk a little bit more about that. But I was wondering if we could give them a small demo. All right. I'm throwing myself completely
Sure.
in your hands here. So we're on Zoom right now, and I'm a patient, you're a physician. What can we just give the people out there sort of a taste of what this experience is like? How do you do an evaluation, simply over an app like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things that would happen would be the first communication, where you either reached out to me in some platform, right? You Facebook Messenger from something that I did, or maybe you had my number, or you were a current client. And so, you need some sort of scheduling app that the client has access to. These apps you can utilize by putting them on your Facebook page, and just putting it out as a post saying, hey guys, I'm still taking appointments. And you can just click on that, Patrick, and schedule your appointment on your own. There's really nice apps out there that let you design the type of appointments, whether it's a 30-minute consult, a well visit, whatever that looks like for you. I know I have friends who do remote type of like energy healing, like all kinds of stuff. There's so many things you can do, right? That would be first. Within those applications, you can take payment for the appointment, or even a down payment, like a deposit on the appointment, so that it kind of gives accountability to the client that's scheduling. It also affirms for the practitioner that this person's going to show up. At that point, within that particular app that I use, I have a document that is basically a release of liability and a health history that I ask you to fill out. So I don't allow my scheduler to schedule same day. It has to be 24 hours. So if you come to me on Tuesday and you look at my calendar, you wouldn't be able to get in till at least Wednesday, or at least Thursday, right? So it has to be a complete 24 hours. That gives me enough time to get and receive your documentation, review your health history, and then, write down any questions that I may have.
Sure.
At that point, I'm going to send you, some sort of Zoom link, just like you had sent me. That's going to book right on that calendar. And a lot of these applications, they tether right in with Zoom. So when somebody generates an appointment on my calendar, it automatically generates a Zoom meeting for them and sends them a link. So technology has made life so easy for me. It's like a one-step done. So from you just scheduling one appointment, you have received documentation you're going to fill out and send back to me. You've also received your Zoom meeting link with instructions. And I've never even talked to you at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've just kind of sent me a message and I sent you my calendar. So when we finally meet for the appointment, I'm going to review your health history. And honestly, I think the biggest thing, it's not really any different than a physical one-to-one. I'm going to have my foundational questions. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are your top 3 issues? What are your goals? And we're just going to go through a general health history of medications, any current supplement programs, just anything of that nature. Just through a conversation just like this, I'm going to take notes. And then at the end of it, as we're moving forward, I utilize a skill called face, tongue, and nail. And I think, as I had mentioned before, when we don't have all the data, it's important that we have skill sets as practitioners that we can utilize without all of our normal data, right? So one thing that I've done is establish lab partnerships. That means I can have you maybe take a little piece of your hair and some saliva, and we send it away to somebody that's going to do a scan on that particular on the stuff that you send them, right? So that's going to happen. That will generate a report for me that I can look at and just have some talking points for you. Some doctors can order blood work. I'm not really sure people are inclined to go to hospitals right now and get blood draws. I think they're a little bit afraid to go there. So I try to make this as least invasive for the person as possible, and I just look at the person. So the skill set of face, tongue, and nail has been around for 3,000 years. Chinese medicine has used it a lot. And so when I teach practitioners how to do this, I teach them three different things. Number one, I teach them physical blemishes on the face, tongue, and nails, and what that means physically. Can mean deficiency, can mean congestion, can mean, hey, I need to ask more questions about what I'm seeing. Then there's an emotional connection to it. So, your face tells me a lot about your emotions that you're experiencing or maybe things that you're harboring. And then third, your face, tongue, and nail tell me a lot about your personality and how I need to communicate with you as a practitioner. So when I teach practitioners kind of telemedicine, that's a big part of the course, is this face, tongue, and nail analysis. Physically, what are you seeing? Emotionally, what are you seeing? And how can you best communicate that information to you, the client, so that you understand what we're doing, so that you can learn, and that we are in good communication with each other. Okay. So that would kind of be the analysis. So if I look at you, right, physically.
Do you need me to get closer?
Eric. Yes.
Can you see me okay?
Physically, I mean, and I've seen you enough that, on Zoom, we've done a lot of these together. But I've seen you a lot, so that I've kind of analyzed you throughout looking at you. But yes, if you were on a Zoom like this, I would probably have the person move closer. I would also have them take a picture of their tongue and probably their nails, so that they could send that to my cell phone or to my email, so I could blow it up on my computer screen and really take a good look at it. Because what I'm looking for is three connectors. If I see something on the face, I want to make sure that I see it on the nail and on the tongue, so that I know that's actually a point of an issue that we need to address. If I'm seeing something just on the face and it's not showing up on the tongue or the nails, because these are like a map of each other, right? So whatever shows up on your face would show up on your tongue, would show up on your nails. The same things are demonstrated. And so long story short, I'm going to do a physical analysis of your face, and then I'm going to connect that physical analysis to an emotional bracket, and I teach them how to do that. And then I'm going to best communicate that to you. So on you, I see poor protein assimilation, a little bit of prostate health we might have to address. Like I said before, you have that's on your chin. It's like a little dimple here. Yeah. Okay. So this is hormone area, and for men and women. So women that get acne here, most women will call me and be like, oh my gosh, my chin's breaking out. So I know that it's a hormone. Now I can't diagnose and say what it is, but I can know that we need to address the endocrine system. And that just leads me to ask better questions. So I don't use it as a diagnostic. I use it as a tool to collect data. So that's what I'm looking at. So then I would look at heart. So then I would probably ask, okay, let me see your tongue. Let's check out your tongue and see if I see any heart indicators on there as well. And again, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with your heart. It could literally mean that, you need some CoQ10. Or you might say to me like, oh yeah, I'm on a blood pressure medicine, or I take cholesterol meds. So it's just an indicator for me to ask more questions of, is there a heart history in your family? Are you on any current medications for blood pressure or cholesterol? Any heart issues that you remember, right? So it's just going to get me to ask better questions. And then just by looking at your facial structure, The narrowing of your eyes, that you're kind of, I wouldn't say skeptical, but you like to know the reason why. It's the way you look at things. You're very kind of zoomed in. Um, and then just the way your ears are shaped, that I can tell that you're a good listener. But you're not going to take everything I say at face value. You're going to be like, you're going to have to tell me why. So that's more of alignment. And so that's just a real quick crash course, but that's basically what it is. So walking out the door for you, not knowing anything else about your health history off the top of my head, I would probably say, hey, Patrick, I'd really like you to get some blood work done in the near future and just have your prostate levels checked by a medical practitioner. I'd probably put you on some enzymes for protein digestion. And I would probably suggest you drink more water and maybe do some light exercise, because all this sitting around right now is putting a little stress on your heart. And because you're a giver, you're just a total giver of yourself, you live in a constant state of guilt, and that's just going to cause you more stress. So those would be some of the suggestions I made.
That's really incredible. The guilt issues go way back, by the way. I'm not sure
Right,
all
they
that is
usually
physical.
do.
Wow, that is really, really awesome. So tell us a little bit more about this class that you're putting together, because we'd love to tell people all about it.
Yeah, so I just called it Dr. Digital. I mean, it was just kind of a little silly name, just because I think, it's a digital age, and these are skill sets I think we have to learn. I mean, we keep hearing the words, we're never going to go back to normal. And that's okay if we can grow in this time, right? But we can't have practitioners going out of business. We need our healthcare professionals. We need doctors more than ever, naturopathic, chiropractors. And if you can't practice right now, that's not going to help people be healthier. So now more than ever. So, I'm going to teach them, obviously the tools that they need for successful online practice. I'm going to teach them how to use it. Also, how to integrate all those applications and at what level do you need them. I'm going to teach them some alternative revenue streams if they want to learn that, from supplement sales and dispensary platforms that I use, also company partnerships and the companies that I know that are really advocating for practitioners and trying to help them be successful at this time. Some simple marketing strategies, and this is where I'm hoping that someone like you will come in and help me, and maybe give some more tips and amplify what I'm saying, because I'm a hack at best. I know what worked for me, but for doctors that are on a larger scale, the little simple things that I'm doing, they may need more, and they may need somebody like you to come in and really help them, lead generate and get new people and convert content. Those are skills that if you don't have them, they can be very time consuming. Yeah, for me, it's very quick because I've done it for a long time. That's where a company like yours can really help them turn that material and go get the new clients and patients and start to help them build revenue in a time like this. Also, reaching people that are searching for help. And that's the thing. I mean, I think people think we're just all sitting here. And I can tell you, if you look at the top search nutrients on the internet right now, it's probably vitamin C, zinc, that people just don't know where to get it. And if you're their doctor, they're going to want to get it from you because they trust you. Also lab partnerships, the different labs that I use in order to collect data that I need. Face, tongue, and nail is beautiful, but if I need more, I'm going to partner up with somebody who has, some sort of bioscan, or maybe have blood work drawn for people, because I can't do that right now, right? I'm not capable of doing that. And then I'm going to teach them this art of face, tongue, and nail so that they can at least collect a little bit of data. But at the bare minimum, the best thing you can do is just help people build their immune system right now, help people stay calm right now. And with that comes a physical need of nutrients. When you are in a state of stress or illness, your body depletes of B vitamins. It depletes of a lot of water-soluble vitamins and a lot of fat-soluble vitamins. And just helping people get those things right now can be a revenue stream for the practitioner and can be a solution for the person who is having a difficult time. So it's a win-win. And in a time like this, we need to be there for each other, and not feel so isolated, and just know that, practitioners are there, that they care.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you're taking this step. I just feel like people are going to get so much out of it. And yes, we're happy to help in any way that we can. Although I've heard you call yourself a hack at marketing, and I got to tell you, I'm not buying it. You're a lot greater. You're better at this stuff than you really give yourself credit for. And I think the whole community has a lot to thank you for. I mean, you've really done an awesome job,
Oh,
and
thanks.
I can't wait to see what this class looks like. So we'll include all the details in the show notes so that people know where to find it. And where can they go to find out more
Great.
about you?
Well, they can go to my Facebook page. It's just Tracey Stroup. It's very simple. I am pretty controversial on my page. I'm a truth teller, and I like to get people thinking about things. So my page, I always say, if you're going to friend request me, do it at your own risk. It should be like a disclaimer. We also have a ministry page called Foundations in Christ if you want to follow more of spiritual wellness. And on that particular venue, I'm going to actually be starting a Bible-based nutrition class. So, based on what did God say about our food sources and health. So something for everybody. I hope the business course blesses practitioners. I set it at a super low price because I understand where they are. I'm not trying to make a ton of money on it, but I do want to cover some of my costs that incur. But I hope that it helps and, connects you back with your patients and clients because they truly need you.
Absolutely. And
But I don't
going to
have
be
a
more.
website because, Patrick, I need you for that.
We'll talk about that next. Tracey, thank you so much
Right.
for being here today. This is really, really helpful. Can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. This is great, this series. So this is a wonderful thing that you're doing just to keep practitioners connected. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Changing Healthcare is a production of Creative Side Marketing. Are you struggling to get trackable ROI from your website content? Trying to boost the number of quality leads for your sales team and provide an amazing customer experience? At Creative Side Marketing, we work with healthcare brands who believe in what's possible and help them disrupt for the better. Let us help you grow using inbound marketing and customer experience solutions. Visit us at creativesidemarketing.com to learn more.